Okay, we are number 21 of Chapter 5-6 review. Number 21 says, what is the octet rule? It's a fairly simple question. The octet rule simply states that all of the atoms, in order to, when they form bonds with other atoms, are going to try to gain an octet. In other words, 8 electrons. So that's simply the octet rule. Every atom is going to try to get 8 electrons, or at least feel as though it has an octet or an octet of 8 electrons around it. Number 22 says, describe a crystal lattice. Again, fairly simple. This is the characteristic structure for an ionic compound, a crystal lattice. This is for sodium chloride, so we have sodium and chlorine alternating. So this is a sodium cation and a chlorine anion, one round after another. So anion, cation. So all this is the lattice. This is the crystal structure, the crystalline structure of a lattice. So salt crystals, for example, are made of this lattice. And this is what makes the physical and chemical characteristics of ionic compounds what they are, this crystal lattice. So that's number 22. Number 23 says, use VSEPR theory to determine the shape of molecules and whether the molecule is polar or non-polar. If you'll refer to the molecular geometry video for that, because it's going to take at least 8 or 9 minutes. So if you'll just go to the molecular geometry video for that, you can get that information from number 23. Number 24, distinguish between the conductivity of ionic and covalent compounds dissolved in water. Simple question. Ionic compounds, when dissolved in water, conduct electricity. Covalent compounds don't. It's just that simple. Distinguish between the malleability of ionic compounds and metals. Ionic compounds are not malleable. If you hit an ionic compound with a hammer, it's going to shatter. It's not going to bend or be molded like metals would be. So ionic compounds are non-malleable. They will shatter if you hit them with a hammer. Number 25, how many bonded and non-bonded electron pairs are on the central atom of the following compounds? We have CH4, SH2, and CO2, or carbon dioxide. I'll turn the light on so we can get a better look. And so this is, again, fairly simple. So these are the 3 compounds that we're talking about. CH4, to start, CH4 has a carbon central atom, central carbon atom that is flanked by 8 protons around it, or 8 hydrogen atoms around it. Notice that each one of the hydrogen atoms is bonded by a pair of electrons. So the carbon then has 1, 2, 3, 4 shared pairs of electrons. 4 shared pairs of electrons here, 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 and here. No unshared pair. No unshared pairs of electrons on that carbon. Let's go to this compound now. SH2. Very similar to CH4, but this time we have only 2 hydrogens flanking the sulfur atom. And so we have 2 shared pairs of electrons. 2 shared pairs of electrons and no unshared pairs of electrons in SH2. And finally, CO2, carbon dioxide. This is a gas, by the way, at room temperature. So we have carbon in the center, and we have, remember that each little line, each little dash is 2 electrons. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8 electrons around that carbon. We have 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, 4 shared pairs of electrons, no unshared pairs on the CO2. And that'll do it for this video. And so next video we'll take care of the next 5 questions. Thank you.